live from New York, it's Ask These Engineers.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a double your trouble, double your fun Ask Engineer. There's double the engineers today. It's me, more Lady Ada, the engineer, the main engineer, and also my co-pilot, Tony, the DiCola.
Hey, yeah, so I'm not at my desk, but I'm at a different desk.
You're at our desk.
Tony's desk is wherever
Where
Tony is.
Oh, we bring it here. Okay, so this is
now the
welcome to
desk of Tony D.
watch Tony D's desk.
Okay, and we've also, of
momentarily.
course, got Phil, Mr. Lady Ada, who's on camera control and watching out the chats, and comes up with the trivia question, and then pretty much everything else. Okay, so we've got an exciting show for everybody tonight, so let's dive right in.
Okay, on tonight's show, the code's Hope. We hope you like it. It's Hope because this weekend is Hackers of Planet Earth conference and more. We'll talk about that. Show and tell. People around the world showing and sharing their project. Lady and Tony will talk about who showed up, what they showed, and more. Pack the mailbags in, stop by, and read your letters to us, Adafruit. Help wanted the Adafruit Jobs Board, the best place online to post your maker skills, and if you're a company, to get a cool maker who has skills. Time travel, look back in the world of hackers, makers, artists, engineers. This week, we'll be looking back at Hope and 2600 and some of the hacker culture. 3D printing, Noah and Pedro have an excellent video. We have some Pi stuff. We actually did a cool project here at Adafruit. We got new products. We're gonna answer your questions. We're gonna have a trivia question, all that and more on Ask an Engineer.
Yay.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do this. First up, do you know what pays the bills here, Lady Ada?
I do. It's this coupon code.
Yeah, and we like to keep people gainfully employed and more. So if you want to help Adafruit and keep us away from venture capital and loans and keep an open source company going, your purchases help. And that's 10% off, all the way up to 11:59 p.m. tonight, except for
gift certificates and software. In fact, we did upgrade the EagleCat software, so it's prime time to mention it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But 10% off all physical goods that ship to you in like a physical box.
Yeah. We have to, so we like paying people. We like paying Tony, and Tony likes giving his cat food. So I'm not going to put pressure on people out there. But Carmen.
Yeah, I unfortunately don't have her here, but yeah.
Carmen requires cat food.
Yeah.
Cat food isn't free.
If you don't buy a kit once in a while, cat gets it.
Yep. So anyways, okay. So let's kick it off. Programming note, this is Ask an Engineer every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and Show and Tell is every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. We are still doing same-day delivery in New York City. Just a reminder, if you're in a zip code and it's before 11 a.m. and we do same day, that will be available. We also have the $200 or more for UPS Ground, continental U.S.
Free shipping.
Yeah, we're still doing that.
Good shipping.
Yeah, we just posted up we call it State of the Fruit. We have a weekly meeting called State of the Fruit. We have a State of the Fruit post, and you can see the on-time rates of the carriers that we use. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who posted up. So you can see UPS Ground, next day, 3-day, overnight, and then the UPS services. Sorry, the USPS services. And what was weird is USPS tweeted back and they're like, thanks. Like it's odd. It's an odd world where like the post office tweets you back.
Like the post office.
Yeah.
Hi,
so
I'm
like, hey, thanks
post
for
office.
using your service. So.
Okay.
Show and Tell, we do it every single week. People around the world show and share their projects with Lady Ada, and this week, Tony D. Why don't y'all talk about what was on the Show and Tell?
Okay, yeah, we had like a jam-packed Show and Tell. So I have a list of everybody who showed off, and starting off with Noah and Pedro from Adafruit Southeast. They made their 3D printing project this week. It's a Ninja Flex Circuit Playground armband, and we'll show a video of it. They showed it off, and they just showed the mega demo, and it was all cool. We had Roberto come by with, he made a scrolling text block with the IS31FL LED matrix, our PWMable LED Charlie Plex matrix. And then we came up with the Featherwing versions. We picked one of those up, and he made like a scrolling name badge. And he also had a Feather Huzzah with a quad LED name badge scrolling thing, and it was scrolling like a really long text. So that's kind of cool. He likes the color green. So showed off all sorts of, and then he turned the old LED matrix into a sound activated light. So it's kind of neat. Lottie is having a great summer. He picked up an orange Japanese GameCube and a Wavebird controller, and he cleaned them out, and he like made them good as new, and he like fixed them up, and he like was playing Half-Life 3 on them, and then haha, and then he also is getting a job installing mod chips into his friend's workplace. So he's turning into a real business person using his electronic skills to make money and buy more parts so that he can play Half-Life 3 on them too. And he got a new Hacko soldering iron, which was very fancy. And then we had Orlando, who's come by a couple times, a big fan of analog electronics. And today is no different. He made a Team Valor Pokemon badge that is red LEDs that flashes using a stable oscillator, either some flip-flops or a 555. And he had like a laser cut, like, badge logo, and he took it out while he was playing this weekend, and everybody wanted to learn about analog electronics. And thus Orlando has done an excellent job of convincing people that they should learn analog electronics. And what's cool is nobody came up to him and said like, oh, you could have done that with oh, it's made with a latching flip-flop, right? So definitely is like the most hardcore, low-level hacking.
The only thing left is like, did you mine the metal yourself? I mean, like, that's it. That's the only thing left.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he could have in fact used, 2 transistors and like, to make the little blinking LED, the standard MIMS project. So like, I don't even know that he used a chip.
Yeah.
He could have etched this out of a piece of silicon. I don't know. He's that hardcore. Sean made a DotStar disc canvas drawer, so he has one of our DotStar discs, and it's like gigantic, and it's the LEDs are not in a grid; they're in a polar coordinate. So we made a polar coordinate canvas drawing application, so he could make NeoPixel or not NeoPixel, but DotStar programs, and they will draw, like whatever he draws on this disc. So it just makes it easier for him to draw images on it because it's like this cool, gigantic disc. Richard had a live tutorial this week, which was awesome, and he didn't show off that. He actually showed off a different thing. He has a refrigerator that was turned into a living computer museum sign for the Living Computer Museum. I guess it's a museum
in Seattle. Yeah, it's a great museum, worth going to.
And so it's this fridge, and they made it look like an old, like the IRS computer with a reel-to-reel, and they used 2 servos to like switch the reel-to-reels and have them flip around, so it looks like it's like an old style tape computer. And it's got NeoPixels, and like the sign is etched in. It's a lovely sign that he's fixing up for them. Aiden made an OpenSCAD tool for creating O-ring molds. So if you want to make your own O-rings, like silicone O-rings, you can mold them yourself with this custom SCAD tool. So you say what size the O-ring you want, and the diameter, and diameter, and like the thickness, and then it will 3D print a mold for you that you can then use to generate any O-ring you want, which is like perfect for roboticists because it's always a different O-ring than what you have, and like maybe the O-ring you want isn't available. So this is a really useful tool, and he demoed it. And then he also had a 3 interlocking mesh project that he made that he doesn't know what it's good for, but he thinks it's cool. Scott from Chickadee Tech did his worldwide announcement for his product. It does not contain an Edison, which I thought because it had a thing that looked like an Edison connector.
Edison connectors.
But it's actually a different part of that family. It's that same family of connectors.
Yeah.
But he is making a stackable module set for the STM32F4, which is like 100 or 144 pin chip. And then you can stack all these connectors to make like flight controllers or custom designs. And so with all that power, you get like so many pins coming out. So you have to have an 80 pin connector to get all the GPIOs through. And you can just like make super powerful. I mean, it's like the most powerful it's like an Edison chip, but it's like this super powered STM.
It was called like Polystack because they could stack.
Polystack, yeah.
And then there was a breakout for them. It's neat because he showed the process of making a company. So if you look back at previous show and tells, at the factory doing the first run,
research,
design, research.
So almost like he's doing his own maker to market.
Yeah. No, it's neat that like there's other companies following a similar path to Adafruit, and there's a place for them to connect up. So.
Yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, congratulations, Scott. And he's doing live casts and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is really neat. I like that he's totally stealing all of our ideas, like in the best way possible. Like I tell people, like steal our ideas, like do live casting, do open source hardware, release files, tell people how you built it. And he's like, I'm going to totally do that, and it's working out. He's releasing hardware. C. Scott, his Kickstarter has finished. He got funding. He's ordering all the mechanical parts. He's playing Ingress. He showed off a hand-taped, single-sided microwave radio PCB that he's redesigning to be double-sided for his mentor or friend who's like 86 years old. So that's cool. And then we had a super guest, Parker, who we had given a TVB Gone kit, and then he went to this bar and grill, and the barman actually smashed his TV gone.
Happens.
So
That's
it
rough,
happens.
yeah.
So we told him, like, maybe we'll give you another one, but be more subtle.
Metal case.
Yeah, or don't like say, hey, I just turned off that TV. I mean, it's really tempting because you're like, you just turned off a TV.
Yeah, with great power should come great subtlety sometimes.
Yeah, you have to be a little. So you have to be a little.
I said
sneaky.
put it in maybe in a cactus. Ow.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Bad ideas.
Yeah.
There was a bad idea
like other
section
spiky.
of. But I would say, yeah.
Okay. And he's working on a RetroPie project and he can control his PSP controller to it to do some sort of RetroPie thing. And he had like a Mac Plus in the background. So I don't know, maybe he's like learning HyperCard. I don't know.
Yeah.
All good stuff going on there. And that was the show and tell. It was huge.
Okay.
So thank you for your patience.
All participants on the Show and Tell get Show and Tell sticker. Email support@adafruit.com if you are on the Show and Tell. To get on the Show and Tell, just go to google.com/+Adafruit. Look for the link at 7:30 p.m. The Show and Tell circle is full, and so it takes a while for all the invites to go out, so we put a link there anyways. And I was asked this question a long time ago, and sometimes I get it again.
Okay.
But why be on the Show and Tell? Tony,
Why?
you're a good example of this got you a job here at
True,
Adafruit.
right? Yeah, just contributing things and showing off what you're doing. It's also good to just learn too. Like you can show a project, you can ask questions, find out this didn't work. Oh, I'll come back later, fix it, and make it work. So yeah.
What I found is some of the Show and Tell participants are looking at each other's guides or tutorials or videos, and then they're building on top of them. And there's what I always like to call the skateboard culture, where it's like, oh, that's a cool trick. Let me show you mine.
Yeah, exactly.
To put you on the spot a little bit, guest Tony Yates, is there any tips that you have for people for the Show and Tell, even if it's just like camera stuff?
I would say even if the project doesn't work, because you're thinking that you've got this great idea and it's like, oh, I'm going to have this amazing thing, I'm going to blow everyone away, and then suddenly it's like an hour until the show and it's not working. It's still worth showing it off because you're still learning something from it. You can still show like, okay, maybe I got the code programmed, but it's not doing exactly what I expect, and here's what I learned so far for it. So you don't have to set it up to be like, oh, I'm going to come in with this amazing thing. Just show what you're hacking on, basically.
Yeah.
In progress.
So, yeah.
Do you have any tips for people for the Show and Tell, Lady Ada?
Yeah, definitely showing progress and having like a story and continuity and getting into the habit of showing people your projects. Because one of the things that's very important about if you're a maker and engineer, if you want to show off your projects, you're going to have to learn how to explain what it is and get feedback from people. And if you want to go to like a maker fair, showing up on Show and Tell is great practice because you get to, how can you explain your project very quickly to some people? And then it's also handy if you're going into engineering because you're going to have to document, do presentations, explain what you're working on and why it's cool. So like the skill set of showing off what you're doing, even if it isn't working yet or it isn't completed, but being able to tell the story of what it is and what it's going to be is a really important skill set for engineers, one that is not stressed as much as like, differential equations, but is as important.
Yeah.
Yeah, but promote it, show this is what it is, this is why it's interesting. That's pretty critical.
Yeah, especially if you want to get more people interested in electronics and you want to show and share off.
These are good tips. And no matter what, you get a sticker and maybe even a job. So,
there you go.
Yeah. All right, this is part of the Adafruit Live series. We have lots of live shows. Every single week, we're doing more and more. The Desk of Lady Ada is one of our series that we do. We're still in week, this is week 5, and we're doing prototyping. We're doing a maker-to-market launch with Maker IO, powered by DigiKey. And it's all about Circuit Playground and about how Lady Ada brought Circuit Playground to market. And we have a video that Noah and Pedro did about Circuit Playground. So I thought I'd play that real quick. And that way people know what Circuit Playground is.
It was a lovely little video.
It's a nice video.
Oh,
So here we go.
Circuit Playground is our new all-in-one board aimed towards education and beginners. It features 10 NeoPixel LEDs, a motion sensor, a temperature sensor, mini speaker, sound sensor, a light sensor, 2 buttons, and a switch. We think it's a great way to practice programming on real hardware with no soldering or sewing required. The onboard Atmega32U4 processor is Arduino compatible, so you can program it with the Arduino IDE and upload your code via micro USB. It also has a JST connector, so you can plug in a battery to make your projects portable.
And that's a little bit about Circuit Playground, or as I like to call it, and other people like to call it, Dr. Theopolis.
You're the only one.
I'm the only one who remembers
I-
this.
Says this.
never saw that. Too young. No.
Yeah, so Buck Rogers, it got weird, and they kept adding things. It was like the 70s, and they're like, okay. And
Enough said.
and it was like it wore a doctor round thing, and like it's just what it was. Okay, so that was design on Saturday of last week, and this week coming up is prototyping.
Yay!
So what are you going to show?
I'm going to show, building the circuit playground. Going to get and the last episode we sent off Osh Park PCBs, and so this week we're going to get those PCBs back, and then we will put them together. We'll put together the prototype, and then maybe show off like a tester jig, showing how in production we're going to test it, and maybe even get to the point of testing each element with Arduino IDE to show like it working with Arduino.
Okay. Yeah, it's the only series of videos that I know where an engineer talks about the entire design to shipping process.
Yeah.
This is it.
No, we're getting there. Prototyping
Yeah.
is halfway through.
Okay. All right, and of course, and this is good timing, watch Tony D's desk. So Tony, you had 2 videos that you did before you came out here for the week. What did you do?
Totally, yeah. So the first one was the Cat Laser 2.0 Part 3. So I'm rebuilding a project that I showed on Show and Tell like 3 years ago almost, where it's a laser that you can control. You can move it up and down, left, right, and you control it through a web page, so you can play with your cat. And like I showed it off, years ago, and a little video monitor, and you could like pick, okay, I want the laser here, I want the laser there. Neat project, but I wanted to bring it into the Internet of Things or to the cloud kind of age, and have it so that multiple people could play with this cat laser toy. Like I could have a server in the cloud, people connect to it, they control the laser, it maybe has like a queue they're waiting in line for. So I've been breaking it up, and I've got the first 3 parts. First 2 were like building the hardware again and doing some of the scripts. The third one was on breaking the old code apart so that half of it can run in a cloud server, like the half that people access from the web page, and then the other half runs on the Raspberry Pi. So really interesting thing, because you don't see a lot of examples of that, of like, I've got a Pi project, but how do I let lots of people use it? How do I scale this thing up to the cloud? So I'm interested in exploring that. So I think probably a couple more parts, like tune in on Fridays. Not this Friday though, because I'll be out here in New York. So that was one. And then the other was Circuit Playground with Bluetooth Low Energy. So I was showing how to use the Fermata sketch that we have. So you can control Circuit Playground and like read the digital inputs and outputs using our Bluefruit LE application. So on your like tablet or phone. So something we're going to do a lot more of, like just connecting up a Bluefruit LE to Circuit Playground, and maybe we'll do like NeoPixels and stuff in the future. So cool stuff coming from with that.
Wireless Circuit Playground.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's
totally.
pretty neat. Yeah, one of the things about the Raspberry Pi Cat Laser projects that you're doing is the only thing that I've seen that a lot of people know about is when it's like, oh, look, my Raspberry Pi's online, it's a web server.
Right.
And like everyone can kind of like, oh, cool, I'm serving web pages off of it. But as far as using it as a cloud computing device where other people can access
how
it and
do
stuff,
like
how do you do
100
it?
people access that one? A Raspberry Pi, there's
poor
no
cat.
way you can serve it. Right, exactly, yeah. Everyone gets to play with the cat. But I want to kind of explore that and see, how do you do this? And I've already learned some interesting things. Like there's some tools to take your webcam or the Raspberry Pi camera video and like scale that out to lots of users, like multicasting it out. So really neat stuff, I think, with that.
Okay. Well, we'll use this opportunity to do an extended intro of Tony D, who's an engineer at Adafruit. So Tony, tell us a little about yourself and why you're out here this week.
Yeah, totally, right. So
Who
I'm
are
visiting.
you?
Yeah,
What are you doing here?
I just walked in and the door was
just found
open.
this
I
guy.
know.
Come on, get on the show.
Exactly. No, so I've been working for you guys for almost 3 years now, a couple years. And I came on the Show and Tell originally. So like the Cat Laser project was actually the second time I was on Show and Tell. And yeah, so I'm a software developer kind of by degree and practice, worked at Microsoft for years. But I've been interested in hardware. Like part of my degree was doing a lot of hardware stuff, and I always wanted to come back to it. And so I just started doing a lot of projects and showing off, simple stuff, more complex stuff. I remember the smart measuring cup. That was a fun one where I used a little
Mixing cup thing?
I used a
Yeah,
load
that's fun.
cell. I should rebuild that one soon. We'll have to figure out a way to make that in the cloud. The Internet Picture Drink or something.
Cloud drinks.
Right. So he's like a load cell, and you could have a cup on it, and as you poured stuff into it, it would measure the weight on it and tell you, okay, you've poured enough gin in, and now pour the tonic in or whatever for it. So that was kind of a fun one. So yeah, I did lots of projects like that, and started writing guides for you guys of here's how to do these projects. and showing like here's how you document it and that stuff. And I think that's kind of why you guys realize like, hey, this could be useful for you to do for Adafruit in general. So kind of brought on board to do that. But yeah, so I do a lot of that stuff, and also I like a lot of the software maintenance. So if you use some of the Python code for the Raspberry Pi, there's a good chance I probably wrote that or dealt with it. So or shoot arrows at me
No,
or whatever. Yeah, right. So yeah, exactly. But no, yeah. So do a lot of software, a lot of hardware stuff here too. So yeah, lots of projects and things. Lots of live streams now too, I guess. So that's the big thing that we're in. I mean, no one else is live streaming electronic stuff, so why don't we do it? That's the thought.
It's risky, I think, and that's why a lot of people don't want to do it. But I think that if you start doing it and show that this is approachable and easy, and there's failures, but there's also a lot of successes.
Yeah,
we'll get more people to do it.
And you see those failures when you do it live. Like, I'll do something, and people will watch me make the stupidest Python mistakes, and it's just like, and then I have to go through the process of debugging it and figuring out, it was this dumb little thing here. But it's good to show that because that's what actually happens. You'll bang your head for hours.
Yeah, programming isn't like when you type it and it just shows up and it compiles the first time. Like you'll make typos and mistakes and copy and paste.
And that's actually some of the skill in debugging of like, okay, it doesn't work. Now what? How do I figure out what's broken here? How do I break things apart? So it's good to show that. I think it's kind of neat to see that process.
Okay, and you're out here hanging out at Adafruit, and then we'll get into the Hope Conference, but you're out here for that.
Yeah, Hackers on Planet Earth. So I've always wanted to go, been a big fan of 2600, so good time to go out and check it out.
Once every 2 years only. So this is your chance.
It's always the last one.
Yeah, they always say that.
This is the last one.
Well, I'm waiting for the Hackers on Planet Mars. Like, you think maybe 20 years from now we'll have that?
Yeah, I actually do think, and I think I know one of the people that are going to go there.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, there's a person who's training to be an astronaut. I think she's going to be on Mars, and she was in the
She'll
hacker
give
scene.
the talk.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking
Hey,
about.
we're on Mars.
Okay. All right, so let's do the mailbag. So people send us these letters and emails and tweets and more, and we read them at our all-company meeting called State of the Fruit, and we also read them for you here. This one is from John. Dear Adafruit, I just received my second Adafruit order, and I'm really enjoying getting the CC3000 up and going in my project. I cannot say enough great things about your tutorial section. The presentation and content are outstanding. I really enjoy watching the Ask an Engineer show, and I even went back and watched all the prior episodes that were available on YouTube, and just yesterday caught up to the current episode. That's a lot. Okay. Can't wait till my next purchase, and to all of you, Adafruit, a job well done, John.
Thanks, John.
Yay. Okay. All right, Adafruit job's work.
Aren't you glad that you don't support the CC3000 anymore?
It was good for its time, but they're a little bit nicer chips.
It was an Internet of booster rocket thing.
I mean, at that time,
it's time to jettison it.
That was the best of the Wi-Fi chips at the time.
It's a challenge.
Good times. All right, well, Help Wanted this week, we have an interesting job. It's in the jobs board, and this is a cool one for all of you that are in the New York area. This is the National STEM Operations Head at Blue Stamp Engineering, seeking a STEM Operations Head for hands-on high school summer engineering program. Read the whole thing. It's National Operations NYC Director. If you're interested in helping kids, building projects, solar-powered electronics, robots, GPS, mini wind turbines, with a motto of learning by doing, this is a job for you.
Sounds intense.
That's great. Yeah,
I would like to do that during high school.
Yeah.
Man, there was nothing when I was in high school like this.
Logo programming.
I would have loved.
Start.
I would have loved having. You live in a swamp. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Time travel. So each week we have a look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, engineers, events, or something. This week is interesting, and this day is interesting. So today is July 20th. And when you look online in the history of things that were in the hacker world, July 20th, around this time, something happened.
Well, what could it be?
I know, what could it be? So, LA Times, July 20th, 1998. There was a protest outside of the Miramax film headquarters about a film that was about to come out called Takedown, and it was about Kevin Mitnick, who was in jail at the time, didn't have a trial yet, and so there was a bunch of hackers and went to the Miramax film studio and said, don't do this film because it's not fair on this person. They haven't even been convicted, they haven't even been charged yet, really.
Yeah.
Don't do this, just wait, stop. And it was based on a book, and I have a little screenshotty thing here. It was based on a book, and the book was Takedown.
That's Tsutomu's book?
Yeah.
This book had so many descriptions of Chinese food.
This is one of the
That's
first.
the only thing I
That's all you remember? Yeah.
You
national
go back and
bestseller.
read it. Go
Yeah.
back and read it, and you'll be like, "You're right." There's so much descriptions of Chinese food and takeout. It's
Yeah.
mostly just like eating.
National bestseller. So that was the protest.
Wow.
And here's some of the books. When you go on Amazon right now, it's like if you bought this, you might like The Art of Deception.
Zigzag was a good book.
Ghost in the Wires is really good. That's Mitnick's
Yeah.
story. I love that one.
So this was all part of what at the time was the Free Kevin movement.
Oh, wow.
So this is maybe if you were in New York, late 2000, late 90s. You may have saw some of these stickers around, and this was part of
On phones usually.
on 2600, which was a hack group, still is a hack group. It's a magazine, and we'll talk about Hope in a minute. But there was a website. This was the freekevin.com site.
Wow. So that was what the web looked like in 1998.
This was 1998, and this was my fault. I was the designer, maintainer, the organizer of a lot of the Free Kevin
But this,
stuff.
this isn't correct. Where is the under construction GIF?
No, I know. I was
Yeah.
doing a lot with like image maps and stuff like that, and was really ahead of its time. But this was part of Free Kevin. We were trying to get the courts to be a little bit more clear about what was going on. This was the first time there was a computer hacker really caught at this level, and he wasn't charged right away, and he kept going, and all the companies said they lost billions of dollars, but they wouldn't put in their annual reports. So did they really lose it or not? So it was this murkish, like salt, brackish time where, like right now, it's pretty clear. Like it's okay, computer hacker, like you're instantly like kind of charged for something. But they were kind of delaying stuff. So I was at 2600. I was one of the people who were working on it. This is one of this was the legal issue. I designed the cover, and I also it was a combination. It's an inside joke, but it was a combination of Janet Reno and one of the other covers we had, a special legal issue, and I was also doing the streaming for Off the Hook. So I would use real audio with a sound card, a sound blaster, and pump that through, and I would be streaming WBAI.
And what was Off the Hook?
Off the Hook is just the weekly hacker show. It's on Wednesdays now, which is funny. I'm still streaming live Wednesdays. I can't get out of it. It's like 20 years ago now. So all of this was a while ago.
It's still being broadcast from down.
Like right now.
Downtown New York.
And so that's 2600. That's some of the things. And then later on, 2600 did a documentary called Freedom Downtime, and I pulled just a 2-minute clip, and we'll play it, and you could see a younger version of me when we were out in front protesting the film that didn't really happen.
Is
So
this your acting debut?
This
I mean,
this wasn't acting at all.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
was me calling.
But this is your
people.
first IMDb.
You're right.
No, I mean there was other stuff, but
Okay.
this is lots of things from previous lives. So here we go.
Y'all have a permit? Do y'all have a permit? Who's in charge out here? Do y'all have a permit? All right, as long as you don't block in front of the entrance, you stay to the side, please. Thank you.
They can walk in front.
Yeah, I guess so.
They can walk in front. The cops have
As
been
long as you
notified.
don't block the entrance for the people to come in, I don't have no problem.
You're not gonna have
Don't
no
block
problem
the
because they have a
entrance.
First Amendment right.
Don't block the entrance. That's all I'm saying.
It's ringing. I got put in voicemail. I guess I got too many calls. It just went straight to voicemail. I'll leave a message there. Hi, this is a protest outside. Are you guys there? If you get this, come outside. We're right down here. I see someone. All right. Well, maybe you'll pick up the phone or come downstairs later.
So were you calling like the publicity department or
No,
something?
I just called the main number. I got a hold of them yesterday.
Oh, really?
And I asked for directions to the protest, and they told me they couldn't get me from where I was at to here. And I said, okay, well, I'll call you back tomorrow when I'm out front. And I see them. They both got their heads up.
There's one.
Yeah, but they're not answering the phones now.
Waving banners that said Free Kevin and holding Stop Miramax posters, the small but vocal crowd of protesters stood outside Miramax Pictures' New York offices yesterday. At issue, this script entitled Takedown, the story of the nation's most notorious computer hacker, Kevin Mitnick. Mitnick is currently being held in prison without bail, awaiting trial on computer crimes. It's a script these Kevin Mitnick supporters say is libelous and would hurt Mitnick's chances of getting a fair trial.
It might influence the jury. It might change a lot of things in a negative way. I mean, he's trying so hard to get it, to at least get a trial, and then this comes up where he's constantly being defamed.
You never know who you might see when you're standing outside the office of a film studio.
Kevin Bacon had no interest whatsoever. But radio personality Laszlo...
Okay, so that's a little bit of like Hope, Hackery, 2600
That's
history.
some pretty serious history.
Yeah, so I thought that was neat. And then Hope is coming up this weekend. 2008 was the first time we went to Hope together. And this is when you brought your Zox box. We had a little table.
Yeah.
And we also debuted Citizen Engineer, which is still up online, citizenengineer.com. And it was our first kind of video. Is about 30 minutes long, and we did a comic book with it and a sim reader kit. And we liked doing it so much, we decided like Ask an Engineer was the natural progression. We want to do it more frequently than just like a big video, like a more weekly thing.
So that was the genesis, the
Yeah.
starting point of
Yeah,
where you are here
we'll
today.
do like hacking videos. We'll talk, now it's like Desk of Lady Ada. Doing a video like Citizen Engineer was like a 2-3 month process, whereas like we want to be able to do something once a week.
So we showed how to hack a payphone, use Skype with it, and then use a red box to dial with it, and also reading SIM card data. And now all that stuff is a little bit harder, but the video's out there, it's there forever. It's on lots of different video services.
Was there any inspiration? Like, was someone else doing it and you saw it and you're like, oh, we should do that too? Or were you just
The
like,
movie
let's
Hackers.
just film
Yeah,
it?
it was just
Oh, really? Okay.
we thought it'd be neat to have a hackery video show.
Ah.
But like the video Hackers, if it was in the movie Hackers, like it's like in that world, this is what people would be watching.
This could be the footage to use.
Yeah, it didn't exist in this world. We had to go to another world to take it out of that world.
Yeah.
Nice.
That makes sense.
And this is the type of stuff that we wanted to see in the world. Someone like Lamore doing electronics, showing how fun it could be, a little edgy. A lot of
Hacking
electronics
phones.
is exploring systems and a little mischief and more. And
Was
so
there YouTube yet? We
No.
used Vimeo. I think YouTube didn't really exist yet.
we used all sorts of video services.
Yeah.
And some of them are
Yeah,
Daily
I
Motion.
think YouTube was out, but it wasn't bought by Google yet. So it was,
I
It was
think
a little
I
weird.
think the quality was really low, and
Yeah,
Vimeo
yeah.
got us really good quality.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
So
Okay.
So that's that's some of the history. And then this week is the 11th Hope, taking it to 11, and we'll be there. Was there any talks that you saw, Tony, that you're looking forward to?
Well, the one I always love, because I haven't been to Hope, so this is my first one, but every Hope I've gone back and watched is Steve Rambam, Privacy is Dead.
Yeah.
Every year he just has a new talk. It's like 2 hours, just goes into all the detail of
He
like...
gets arrested some of the time.
Yeah, well, and he's a
always
private
good.
investigator, gives you all this good info on like, you think using Facebook is good, but all of your info is out there. You can't be private online, so
Yeah.
that's a fascinating one worth watching. But just anything, like there in the past, I remember there's like good food hacking stuff sometimes. I don't know. So I haven't had a chance to actually go
Still
through the
haven't
whole
had a
list
top
yet.
list.
So I need to
Yeah.
see.
One of the things that's really interesting about Hope is the time right before Hope. There's you get kind of a preview of some of the talks. So we were at SummerCon, and we saw an excellent car hacking talk. And they
Yeah, the
went
history
through
of car hacking.
every single like threat vector in a car.
And he had a cool JTAG sticker.
Yeah, a JTAG sticker on his laptop, that was neat. But one of the neat things that we learned was pretty much every vector that you can imagine in a car is pretty much wide open. So Bluetooth, you can take over a car. You can do something like get a CD and put a Windows Media Audio file
Nice.
on it. Yep, like there's all sorts of things. So they work with the manufacturers to tell them to fix this. And at first there's a lot of denial, like there's no way you could take over a car. And then they show them a video of it, of like driving in a car and like someone
Brakes and
controlling
stuff,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
and that supposedly shouldn't be able to
Wow.
have happened. So cautionary tales and also more, but that's one of the
Or
talks that's going to be.
Buy a car from the 60s and 70s where they didn't have those electronics yet.
Yeah.
That's the...
You think you're safe, but
Yeah.
there's another thing that's coming up. So all of those older vehicles that the government owns, there's going to be a mandate that they all have telematics. So you're going to plug in an Internet of Things like device onto the
ODB port.
ODB port. So that's going to basically go to the lowest bidder,
Yeah.
and then you plug a thing in. Now it's on the internet.
Ouch.
Yeah, so
we'll
it's
see
like
what happens.
there's gonna,
So that's going on. So we're doing a talk. Lady and I, Mitch Altman and Ben, we're doing one on hacking through business theory and logistics.
2 hours.
Yeah, well, it's panel, and we're just going to talk about what it's like to run, I think what at this point can be called a hacker business. I mean,
Yeah.
we're definitely not like every other business. And if people are interested in running a business, kind of like Adafruit, we'll tell you all our hacks.
The hacks for running a hacker business.
Oh, yeah, there's all sorts
that
of
should have been the
hacks.
title.
Yeah, and we'll see.
Well, they did say hacking.
That's
through
true. Yeah, there's
business.
hacking in there at least.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's tough because I think when you kind of go on your own, which we did,
Yeah.
it's risky, but you have a lot of independence, and I think that's kind of the hacker spirit.
Totally.
So we'll
Yep.
see. So that's coming up. Okay. So that's some Hope history.
Oh, and I have a little bit.
I
Yeah,
was
so
say, you have some
I just
stuff.
want to show I am a true 2600 fan. This is a sticker I bought
overhead.
16 years ago. So this is
that
Stop,
Free
Stop
Kevin
the
yellow.
MPAA, right, in the style of Free Kevin. I think this is a little bit after Free Kevin, but this was when the 2600 published links to the DECSS source code, which was source code to decrypt the encryption on DVDs. It turned out to be like trivial encryption, and people cracked it immediately. But the MPAA and all these companies were saying, "Whoa, you can't send this source code around. This breaks our stuff." And that kind of started the whole genesis of the DMCA and like all this copyright stuff. And unfortunately, 2600, they kind of were the first guys that went and they got all the arrows in the back. So they were sued, and I think they lost the lawsuit. Yeah, it was not a good time. But I gave my support. Yeah, and then of course I've got to have the 2600 hat here too. So this is hacker fashion. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So a little bit of history, and what's funny is there was a lot of T-shirts with the code, and a string of numbers became illegal.
Exactly.
For a while.
Well, and I liked people got it put into the trial, so now it's in public record. So they just completely backfired. The code is out there. So. And
Lamar and I talk about this all the time. It's kind of funny. Before, like, hacking was like, oh, I'm going to make a free phone call. Well, all there is free phone calls now. And then later on, it's like, oh, I just want to be able to watch a movie on a computer or listen to music on a computer or a mobile device, and that's all there is now. And so, the hackers were kind of way ahead of their time. The legislation and the technology weren't quite.
Yeah, showing what's possible. If you have access to your media, you can do whatever you want with it.
So that's what's coming up.
Okay.
So we'll see some of you there.
Yay, so we'll be there. Come see our
weekend.
talk. It's 2 hours long. You can ask any question you want about running a business, and I'll answer it.
Yeah.
You can also ask here.
If in the other, I hope Jason Scott is speaking. He's probably one of the funniest speakers.
Oh yeah,
Jason Scott is hilarious.
I hope
quality
he's speaking.
talks.
I hope he's speaking.
Johannes Monochrome is going to show their documentary, Johannes' documentary, which is excellent. We saw that at the film opening here. Definitely worth seeing. I think that's Friday night.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to check out, because it's not going to be available on YouTube. It's because you have to license music for it, so you can only see it in
the original vision of it.
Yeah. The vision.
We're going to do a little bit more news and then some new products. So it's speaking of IoT, so Internet of Things. Yeah, this is Nimbus, the cloud entity that takes all your data but lets you know about it. We have an Internet of Things Bill of Rights that we're going to stick to.
Okay.
So we have Adafruit IO, fun dashboards and maps and more. And every week we try to do an IoT Adafruit IO update. This week is kind of a big week for us, big milestone. Guess what? We are up to 10,000 feeds.
Yay!
Wow.
Online feeds.
Yeah, online feeds.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that was only like 6,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now it's 10.
It's a lot, and we're at 14,000 users. So I think this is the most popular, most used Maker Internet of Things service right now. And I don't know for sure because no one else is publishing their numbers. So until someone publishes their numbers, I think it's the first one. But from what I understand, there's only like a few thousand users on some of the other places. So we have a stable system. We have a lot of people using it.
It's gotten so much more stable.
Yeah.
A lot of updates,
60
upgrades.
inserts per second. That's pretty good. I mean, that's a high rate. I mean, I worked in large-scale cloud services, and this is impressive.
You know
This is
the
a lot of
business.
stuff. Right, exactly.
Yeah. And so that's where we're at with this.
I like that most people are using MQTT, not REST. Like there are like 10 inserts per second via REST, but like, man,
look at
REST.
this. Look at the number of feeds.
Nice.
Bam!
Bam!
So
is that hockey stick growth yet?
That's in 1 day.
Wow! Oh wow!
In 2
Okay.
days.
Yeah. Geez. That's
so
cool.
people are. It's going up. It's like a couple hundred feeds.
Yeah.
Every few days. So yeah, maybe.
I like how you can see like hourly, kind of goes up and down, and you could see this a lot with other data where it's like people wake up, they do some things, so it's always interesting.
Yay!
Okay, so congrats on the team, Justin, Tyler, Todd, Adam, everyone who works on Adafruit IO. It's kind of like our sleeper hit because we don't want to charge for a service yet. We just want people to use it. So please buy a kit and electronics and all that stuff. Code is Hope tonight, but that helps pay the server bills and more. But we'll see. The service is going to continue to evolve.
Yep.
But that's
as
neat.
Always.
That's some neat stuff. Okay, 3D printing. Neil and Pedro have a great circuit playground video. It's the thing from the show and tell.
Yeah, the watch.
So I thought we would.
Wristband.
Yeah, I thought we'd show that.
Circuit Playground is our new all-in-one board aimed towards education and beginners. It features 10 NeoPixel LEDs, a motion sensor, a temperature sensor, mini speaker, sound sensor, a light sensor, 2 buttons, and a switch. We think it's a great way to practice programming on real hardware with no soldering or sewing required. The onboard Atmega32U4 processor is Arduino compatible, so you can program it with the Arduino IDE and upload your code via micro USB. It also has a JST connector, so you can plug in a battery to make your projects portable. To make it a wearable, we designed and 3D printed a simple bumper and a 2-piece strap so we can wear it on our wrist. NinjaFlex filament is really flexible material and it's perfect for strong and super flexible projects. The straps are inserted into slots on the bumper and each strap has an extended end to act as a stopper. One strap has holes for different size wrists and the other one has a little nub so we can snap the two together. A small LiPo battery can be tucked away in between the straps or underneath the board. We designed the parts in Autodesk Fusion 360 with user parameters, so anybody can easily change the length or width of the straps. The Pokemon Go project by Richard Albrighton turned Circuit Playground into a team badge. NeoPixels light up and the motion sensor detects movement and flashes them white. You can also cycle through team colors using the onboard button. There's tons of other projects you can make with Circuit Playground, and we have a playlist full of project ideas and tutorials. So be sure to check them out and subscribe for more projects from Adafruit.
Okay.
All right.
But wait, there's more.
Wait,
so
what? There's more?
Yeah, there's more. So tune in tomorrow for 3D Thursday. Noah and Pedro, they'll do some layer by layer. We've got some other videos they're going to drop. And as always, we have a fun time lapse. Here we go. Okay, moving right along, we have some pie news. We did a workshop here at Adafruit for the team members. They made pie girls. This is Andy's pie girl. This is Michelle's pie girl.
This is Michelle with
This
her
is
pie girl.
Michelle.
Yeah.
I like the black on red personally.
Yeah, you can tell that
That's
she's like,
nice.
this is my
yeah,
color.
good color.
Sam's pie girl.
Sam has pink
and
hair
red.
too.
And it's Jelly. This is her pie girl build. So we did this. So, you know, we tried to find fun things to do with the staff. And everyone really likes to build electronics that play video games. We're doing an arcade project here with the team.
Is this dangerous? You've given all your employees like video game devices. Are there going to have to be rules now that, you know, no pie game like during office hours?
Here's the thing. As someone who helps run a company with Lady Ada with 100 plus people, there's no stopping it.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a supercomputer.
How could you say no to Angelica?
There's a
Look at how happy she
supercomputer
is.
in all of our
Yeah.
pockets. Anyone can get a hold of anyone at all times. I've heard about companies where they say no phones, no headphones, no nothing. I think what you want to do is instill the desire to do a good job.
Yeah.
And if all these things can happen where you still can have a phone when it makes sense and the things are getting done, to empower someone to look at it that way instead of coming up with a rule set. Because what if there's a phone in a pocket, but then they have a watch that's interactive, or they have like a hologram 10 years from now that can talk to you?
Or it's in your brain.
There's an implant.
Right.
So I kind of feel like finding the right thing to motivate a group of people to do something together is a better strategy than trying to limit technology.
Makes sense.
It's just never going to work. Like you can't compete with what's a phone.
Pokemon Go, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
Yep.
just like people are like, oh, I found a Pokemon here, and we still get all the stuff done. So I think like if you trust the staff, but yeah,
we got stuff going on. Not to worry about it.
That's the only thing I
And
found.
that they
that
learned
works.
how to like burn an SD image to Linux and how to
Intro to Raspberry Pi stuff.
and
That's
to
good
solder and
stuff.
to attach buttons and 3D print. So
Yeah. So okay.
good skills.
All right, Lady Ada. Before we do new products, Koto.
Hope.
Okay. New product time.
Okay, we've got a whole bunch of new products.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's do this.
let's
Ready?
do this thing. Yes.
Okay.
So this is,
Wires.
we got these raw bundle wires, and so these are just like the premium wires that you know and love, but they don't have any housings on them. They're just like the metallic inserts. And so these are the female, like the socket headers. And then, can you skip to the next photo?
Yes. So this is the first round.
Yeah, so this shows it with a housing. Just skip to the next one. So these are the wires. They come in a bundle of 40 wires, and you can pull them apart like a string cheese. And then these are the, also if you also skip ahead.
Okay, well this is another
Yeah, these are the male headers.
product.
So this one you can see, this is a close-up, you can see that it has pointy stuff sticking out rather than a socket. So this is the male type raw headers, again, without housings. And then separately, we sell the housings.
Okay.
So when you get one of those, and then you get some of these, and these are just the plastic pieces to make your own DIY cable harnesses. Because we sell like the, one-to-one cable, so you can make jumpers. And I tape them up sometimes to make like, 2x4 or like 1x6. But if you're, doing a lot of custom cables, this is a really fast and easy way to make cable housings. And we basically just sell the housings in a pack. So you can see like here's a 2x5 and 2x4 header housing, and you just snap the wires in and they click in, and then it's, basically permanent. They're stuck in, and you can arrange them however you want. So you can like have different pins go to different housings, different cable connectors, whatever. So we've got a set of like 2x3 to 2x7 or something, 2x6. This is a pack that has like larger headers. So like 2x8, 2x10, 2x7, 2x20, 2x whatever, I don't remember exactly. We have an arrangement, an assortment. So you can pick up whichever size you need for the cables you're going to make. Instead of having like one gigantic pack or selling individual ones, which I'm also like, it doesn't make sense because they're like 10 cents each. And it would be too hard to barcode and package. You just get a pack. And so just pick up the packs and you'll use them. So like 1x1, 1x4, 1x5. And then they're inexpensive, and you can basically make like dozens and dozens of custom cables.
This is like Minecraft for connections and cables.
So I can
you
show
craft
on the
whatever you
overhead.
want.
Yeah, show on the overhead.
Show on the overhead. So this is.
I like how you put these together because you were thinking like someone who does projects and what would be the most useful.
I was tired of myself. So this is like a. Hold on. Zoom in. So this is like a housing, for example, and then this is, one of the cables, and you can pull the cables. You can pull the cables apart. So you're like, okay, if you want to have them together, you can, or you can just pull individual pieces off, and then you just snap them into here as you like. So for example, here is some male type connectors. And then you just line them up with the input side, which is a little bit wider. So this is like the larger hole. And then these just slide right in. And then it just takes a little bit of wiggling to get them to lock in. But then once they're locked in, it doesn't come out. So that's it. Like it's permanent. The little plastic latch basically latches them in place. And so if you want to make like a custom cable arrangement, you can use standard 0.1 inch headers or housings or breadboards or perf boards or whatever, and these just work great with them. So it's perfect for any basic.
Can any of these
connectors.
snap apart for custom sizes, or should they get the different ones from the different packs?
Yeah, you can cut them and grind them down with a Dremel, but like I tried to basically make the packs have a wide assortment without making it like completely ridiculous. Like it had to be like if it fit in this bag. So you can get like 3 to 5 of each size, And then you can always tape them or glue them together, and you can Dremel them down. But it's pretty much just designed so you can.
Is there a 40-pin one that you could use on a Raspberry Pi, like plug into the GPIO header?
I think there is. I included a 2x10 or 2x. I don't.
Or yeah, you
remember.
could combine a few together because that could be kind of neat. You could just pull out the pins that you need for the Pi.
I think this is a 2x20. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But we also have, of course.
Or you could just use a smaller one and just use the wires you need. But that
yeah,
could make
use
a nice
the wires
little
you want. I
connection,
mean,
yeah.
it's the thing if you're not using the whole thing. And then another thing is you don't have to use all the positions in the header.
Right.
So if you're connecting to
need
the
a few
Raspberry Pi,
wires.
but you're only using 5 of the cables.
Exactly.
Then you just plug in those 5, and so this is a perfectly valid connector. If you only have a couple of contacts being used, but it has to fit into a kind of like a JTAG that there's like 20 pins, but only 3 are used. You don't have to have wires for all of them. So you can do any kind of custom cable. So this is a request by John Park, and he's like, hey, I want to make custom wire harnesses, and so this is a really great way to do that. And then of course you can split these onto 2 different connectors if you want. It doesn't have to go to the same connector on the other side, or you can cut strip them and solder them, whatever you like. It's a party. A veritable party of housings.
And a little bit of news in case people didn't notice on the blog. John Park, formerly of Disney Pixar, and before that, in addition to Make and Make TV, he's joining the Adafruit team. So he'll
Also
be
known
launching,
as Kevin Mitnick.
No, John Park will be releasing, I think, his first video this week.
Yay!
So he's doing a
Cool.
cool project.
Yep.
So that's
He's gearing
some
up.
news. Okay, so tonight the star of the show, besides Tony DiCola and Lady Ada, is this product.
Yes,
What is this, Lady Ada?
This is a Teensy adapter that lets you use the Teensy 3.x, the 3.1, 3.2, probably the 3.3 when that comes out, and it will turn it into a feather-shaped board that has the same pinouts as all of our feathers, so you can use our 50 feather wings and accessories, and they just plug right in, but you get all the joy of using Teensy, so that's really wonderful. I can show on the overhead how it works.
And the cool thing is, like, all of those libraries, like, they've imported most of them
They
to
all
the
work.
Teensy. Yeah,
we actually tested every
big,
single.
big ups to Paul also. I mean, he's put a ton of support into this, so yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
tested
good
all
stuff.
the libraries with
Yeah.
the feathers, so they'll definitely all work. GPS works, motor wing works. I mean, part of it was the libraries we wrote for feather are all use I2C or SPI. They don't use any weird PWMs or timers on purpose, other than NeoPixel, but NeoPixels will support it. So basically you take your Teensy 3 and then we give you some very short header that you basically solder it into place. And then it just reroutes all the wires around so that analog pins are where the analog pins are on the feathers. The I2C and SPI and serial ports are in the right location, and then you have digital pins and the power pins in the right location. Basically just means that you can you plug in a feather wing in, and then you've got your OLED feather wing, and it just works on the Teensy. And so I really like the Teensy, but I was like, I really don't want to make like a servo wing and then like an OLED wing. I don't want to have to go and remake everything. So it's easier for me to make an adapter, and it fits like very nicely inside. And honestly, it would cost the same amount. Like to make a custom Teensy would cost the same as just having an adapter.
This is nice too. You could start with like a 32U4, like a simple processor, and then you run out of memory, you run out of space. Oh, you get a bigger one like a Teensy that's a lot more memory, and it's easy to just plug it in and put all your same wings on top of it, and you're good to go.
Or you use a Teensy and you do stuff, and then you're like, oh shoot, I want Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and
Yeah.
then you can switch to the Huzzah, and all of your accessories still work. And so like this is, it's designed to be like you don't have to. Like the Arduino shields are a really good idea because Arduino is a large enough design that there's a lot of cross-compatible boards that you can use like most shields with. This is just smaller and battery powered. So the extra space that we had left over, because the Teensy is a little bit bigger, it fits in between the headers. We added a LiPoly battery charger, so you can use it off of a LiPoly, and then when you plug it in, it will automatically charge over USB. So it's charging, and then when you disconnect, it will switch over to LiPo. So it'll switch between LiPo and USB depending on which one you have. And then we include it with stacking headers, so you can plug into a breadboard and then stack wings on top. So that's the fun. Here, I'll run the OLED demo again.
So it makes your Teensy a little bit bigger, but you can put wings on it.
Yeah, but I mean the Teensy
Yeah.
is so teensy
Exactly.
that maybe for like a couple bucks now we have 35 different feather wings, from LED matrices and Charlie plexes to OLEDs to GPS
This
to
creates
data
a
logging.
Teensy ecosystem that's big on
Yeah.
value.
We have the real-time clock and data logger.
Oh yeah. The LED matrix and
LED
stuff.
matrices,
and,
all the
yeah.
7 segments. So it's like all of that
Backpacks.
stuff. Like how much effort is it to make a custom PCB for the Teensy? you can just use.
Yeah.
And we're coming out with the Ethernet Featherwing next week, so you'll be able
Whoa,
to add
is that a
Ethernet.
top secret?
No, I haven't
Don't
announced
ask?
it.
Oh,
I
okay.
shut it off, but
Okay.
yeah.
You can have a Ethernet teensy.
You can Ethernet, and, we're going to have
Ah.
radio Featherwings. We'll eventually
You can
have
have a radio
Wi-Fi
teensy,
or
a Wi-Fi
Bluetooth.
teensy,
Yeah. All sorts of good stuff.
GPS teensy, a Phona teensy, maybe. Like,
Yeah, we'll have all
Wow.
sorts of like add-ons. So now that like the Feather line has been sort of like it's solidified. We've been doing Feather for like almost a year now.
Yeah.
It's been since September when we first like previewed
Yeah.
it, and really it's just November since we've been releasing boards. But it's been this continuous.
So if you have a teensy hanging around in the drawer, now it has a whole other life.
Now it has all these things that you can do with it.
Okay.
So there's a flock of feathers.
A flock of feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boards of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and with that, Lady Ada, that was new products. Good work.
Yay!
Okay. For those keeping score at home, it's 10% off. In the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. We are going to do some questions that I already started lining up. I
Okay.
got them there, and we're going to then do a trivia question, and then we're out. So here it is. Questions.
Question time.
Post up in the chat.
I got
All
my
right.
teensy feather wings. This is great.
First question. This is Tony D question.
Oh,
Favorite
wow.
programming language? Tony D.
Oh man, I guess if
right.
I have to pick one, Python is what I use every day.
Okay.
I love it, I hate it. It's great. There are good things,
Yeah.
bad things. You learn all the quirks of it,
I'll
but
do-
on the whole, it's good.
I'll do a follow-up. Before Python, what was your favorite? programming
C++.
language?
That's what I knew the most, and especially these days, C++ 11. They really overhaul the language. It is nice. Like they've done nice things with C++.
Okay.
Have they killed templates yet?
No, but it's not as crazy as in the 90s.
Okay.
We kind of got off of that insanity.
Okay. Another Tony D question. Someone's getting started with Raspberry Pi. What are resources you would suggest?
Well, if you're like totally new, raspberrypi.org, they have really good tutorials that like walk you through the basics, so check that out. And then the forums there, like tons of good info in there.
Yeah, the
so,
forums are
yeah.
extremely popular.
Yeah.
Raspberry
Yeah.
Pi.
When you're, I'll do a follow-up on this. When you're doing Raspberry Pi stuff, just because like I always like to hear how people work. Do you do like /Raspberry Pi in search? Like how do you find stuff?
Oh, generally, if you just put like Raspberry Pi and like GPS module or something, you're gonna find like the most interesting
You
info.
go for the
yeah.
broad
If I
results.
see a bunch of things, I'll go to the Raspberry Pi forum thread because that usually has the most up-to-date
and
info.
then you'll read all the threads.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, exactly. You'll see like, oh, someone just tried it last week and it worked or didn't work or whatever, or here's
Gotcha.
how to do something. So yeah, that stuff's generally pretty good.
I always like when, because you're an instructor basically now, like it or not, how you maximize what's out there, and like how do you get one to many, and how do you like get the wisdom of the crowd? You always hear this, but like forums are a really good resource.
Oh yeah, right.
And in the Adafruit history, a long time ago, there's like, well, why are the engineers at Adafruit in the forums helping people? Why can't I call them on the phone privately?
We always had a lot of requests for like
wow.
email support of
Yeah,
phone
yeah,
And we
support.
said, we're an
That
open
just
source
doesn't
company,
scale.
and if we help someone privately and secretly over the phone, that's dead forever. So what can we do that is searchable, findable?
Exactly.
And I didn't even ask you. I was gonna ask this question, but like someone who has to get the most information fastest, quickest, right? Like having that all up in the forums is a really good thing. So,
Yeah.
anyways, it's always cool to figure out how people find information.
Yeah.
Somehow. It's bad when you're searching around and eventually you find your own thread from like a
Oh,
long time.
yes, that has happened. Yep.
Okay, Lady Ada, what are the current, what current are the cables rated at?
I'm trying to remember what the gauge of the wires are. They look like they're about 24 or 26 gauge. So I can, you could probably pull like an amp through them temporarily, but they're really meant for signal, not as much power. Of course, you can always parallel the power pins and have like multiple power ground wires. But yeah, I think they look. I'm guessing just by looking at them right now, and they look about like 24, 26, 28 gauge.
All right, request for Lady Ada and or Tony D. Would you be willing to do a demo of making one of the cables at some point for a video or more?
I just did. You snap them in. There's no. The demo is like.
Hit the replay button.
Yeah,
All right.
just go. I mean, you really click them in, and that's it. There's no crimping. That's what I really like
Okay.
about these. They're pre-crimped and ready to rock.
Is it possible to have a head and power supply to drive a string of approximately 30 feet of color LEDs?
A head?
Quote, head end.
Head end. I don't know what that.
Like power only on one end, maybe. Or
Okay,
something
I'll
for
re-ask
that
the
long?
question in a different way.
Yeah.
How would you power approximately 30 feet of color LEDs?
We actually have a really good tutorial from Phil B, Paint Your Dragon, on making a NeoPixel curtain. So check the learning system, the learn.adafruit.com, and search for the NeoPixel curtain, and he shows how to power essentially 30 feet of LEDs.
Okay. Oh, I think someone still thinks you're at Microsoft. How do you balance working for Microsoft and this?
No, I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, no, you're
unfortunately.
leaving at like 10 o'clock. You have to go and like do 6 hours at the Microsoft.
Go fix
That
OneDrive.
would be hard. But it is good if you do have a job. Like, have a passion, do things. I did stuff in spare time. I mean, maybe it turns into a full-time thing. You never know.
Yeah. Okay.
That'd be
Next.
cool if you were still like,
Yeah.
like you don't do enough, but you also have to like.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any
Thanks for
recommended
your
rotary encoders that I can use for inputting numbers into the phone a feather?
I would actually, to be honest, if you want to input numbers, I would use one of our 3x4 button pads. That way you can multiplex them. Just because a rotary encoder is not that great for inputting numbers either. I mean, it's a lot of numbers. The phone a feather wasn't really meant for like you enter the numbers. Meant for like you SMS a specific location or you do data, like MQTT or something.
Okay. When should I use a rotary encoder instead of a potentiometer?
A rotary encoder doesn't have absolute position. It just tells you if you've gone left or right by one click. And a potentiometer tells you the exact location. So trade-offs.
Tony D, do you like DuckDuckGo or Google more?
I guess I use Google. I don't really use DuckDuckGo that much, but I should try it maybe. 'Cause
Okay.
it might be better.
And have you tried
Bing's not even on the list.
have you tried the $9 chip?
I have, yeah. I've used the Pocket chip, and that thing is really nice. Like, they've made a portable Linux computer that's really cool. I have a chip, and I've had a little bit of trouble. I had an early one. I had to flash the firmware on it. I've still been playing around with it, though. It's very nice. Like, I'm impressed with it so far, so it's cool.
Yeah, they seem like they made a very cute. I think the Pocket chip
Yeah,
especially.
the Pocket
very
chip
cute.
is the way to
Yeah.
go, I think, because it's just a neat total package.
Okay, this was a follow-up from before. Favorite IDE?
I guess I use the Atom text editor, but you got to give Microsoft credit. Visual Studio is a heck of an IDE. Like, it's just batteries
Is it
included.
open source
does everything.
because like so many things use it?
No, there is Visual Studio Code that is like a fork of Atom, kind of, or it's similar to it. But Visual Studio itself is not open source. You can plug into Visual Studio. There's like this whole VSO, or I can't remember what it's called anymore. There's a different acronym. You can like take Visual Studio and make it into an editor. So that's like what AppMail does with
Okay,
ADR
that's
Studio.
what they do.
Exactly.
It's not a license. It's actually Visual Studio. And then they have
Yeah,
plugins.
there's a whole process of you can take
It's
it and
free,
build
but
it.
not open source.
Well, Visual Studio is not free tech. There are express versions, and the licensing is a little
geez,
weird.
I'm
But
sure I read
I mean, but it's a good editor. Like, especially for debugging. If you're doing stuff in .NET, you've got to use Visual Studio. But it's also a good model for other IDEs, I think, too.
It is a nice IDE. If
Yeah.
I was going to use an IDE that wasn't like Arduino or just like a Makefile, I would definitely.
It's
Visual
nice.
Studio is not
yeah,
so bad.
it just works for most cases. So,
Okay,
yeah.
and what are your upcoming projects that you're working on?
The cat laser is the big one, so that'll be fun. In the next few videos, hopefully we'll finish it up, and I don't know if I'm going to let the whole internet access it. Maybe I'll just like give it to some friends or something. I'm still thinking about that, but that's a cool one. And then I'm thinking about Bluetooth Low Energy and Circuit Playground, so like connecting those together and doing fun stuff. So we'll see what we can do with that. And MicroPython, like I'm really impressed with that. That is a cool project with the ESP8266. So fun stuff coming there.
Okay.
All right.
Those are the questions for the evening. Thank you,
All right.
folks.
Cool.
Speed round.
Those are questions. I need to do it twice. Okay, cool.
Oh,
All right, it's trivia question time. Lady, what are the rules for trivia?
Rules are if you've won something before, you can't win again. There's one winner per my lifetime, so we want to give everybody a chance to win a prize. So if you won, don't give hints. Just sit
What
on
do
your
you wanna
hands. We're going to give away a Teensy and a Teensy Feather adapter.
Teensy and Teensy
Ooh.
Feather.
Yeah, because you need both.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
All right. I will ask the question, and the first person I see in one of the chats, I'm just going to call it. What is the name of the 2600 documentary about Kevin Mitnick and more that we played a clip from in the show? What is the name of it?
The
What could it be?
documentary.
All you had to do-
Starring young Mr. Lady Ada.
Yeah.
His film debut. Was that ever shown at like film festivals? Wow, so it's a real movie.
It's not 42. It's not Apollo 11. It's not Wow.
Documentary from 2600
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
about
I'll
Kevin
do that in a
Mitnick.
second. 2001 Space Odyssey. Nope. Takedown. Nope.
Good guess though.
Save Kevin. Nope. Amelia Earhart. Nope. Code 2600. Nope.
This is a tough one.
Wow.
I gotta be here all night. Finding Nemo. Oh, that's right.
Ooh. Maybe they should make an animated version of that movie again.
Yeah.
The kids' version.
Takeout.
I'm telling you, we'll do the
The thrilling adventure of
called
Lovelace and Mattis. It's not Takedown. It's the
Oh, yeah,
documentary that
I just
2600
remember this
did.
thing about like this Chinese food, and it was like fried rice, and they kept describing it. And
I need to read this now.
I'm like, how do you know so much about the food that you ate?
You could probably type like 2600 hacker documentary. Probably do that. That'll probably get you there. New Moon. Okay, congratulations. Texan the Beach. Freedom Downtime.
Freedom Downtime.
Congratulations. Tex on the beach. Tex on the beach, yeah. Tex, I guess, technology on the beach. Okay, congratulations. Tex on the beach. You won. It was Freedom Downtime. You won. So email support@adafruit.com and you get a teensy and a
teensy feather adapter.
teensy feather adapter.
One of each.
One of each. Okay. All right, well, that's the show for this evening.
Cool.
3.1,
Yeah,
yeah.
oops.
If you send them the product links, it'll help them a little bit.
Yeah, send the product links. Okay, so that's the show for this evening. Thanks for playing.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Kotope, use this up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern time tonight. If you want to say thank you to us, this is the best way. You can also hit like and subscribe. That's always handy. Those don't pay bills, though.
You don't get subscribe coins, we can use to buy subscribe food,
Not yet.
like dollars.
Yeah. YouTube will show you a video of someone eating.
I know they will.
Oh, it's social dining. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
That's it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There might
Alright.
be a social dining video on our YouTube channel, so check that out, youtube.com/Adafruit.
But we'll be very hungry because there's no
Yeah.
food, because you didn't help support us by using the code HOPE.
Yeah.
So use
Okay.
the code HOPE, 10% off.
Yep, 10% off, and we
Pay
have a
for his
picture of a cat.
cat's Pay for this cat's food, too.
Yeah, we got a cat. And here's your moment of Zener.
Sorry.